why is your body overreacting to histamines? Like, why isn't your body adapting to hormonal changes? Why isn't your body adapting to stress? And all of it all boils down to, why isn't your body adapting?
Welcome to Motherhood, Aligned and Assigned, where we help guide mothers from symptoms to solutions.
We're Dr. Serena and Dr. Veronica Schultz, nervous system specialists helping families discover the missing link in their wellness journey.
Join us as we translate complex health challenges into simple, actionable solutions for you and your children.
Because your family deserves to thrive,
not just survive.
How many ladies, let's just be honest, this is women that we're dealing with, you conclude that you have a diagnosis of POTS. And then on your journey, you realize, I think I also have, let's say, MCAS. I'm also experiencing all of those symptoms. I also...
What's MCAS?
Mast cell activation syndrome. If the girlies who are listening to this know, they know.
Yeah, that's true.
Also.
I was like, should I explain?
No, they know. They know. If you found this video, you also probably have EDS, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, right? It's like, wow, why do I have those 5 diagnoses? And then you start to think, because I've seen this on social media posts, I'm seeing people start to think, I thought I just had MCAS, but now I also have all the symptoms of POTS fit the bill too. And fibromyalgia, and insomnia, and chronic headaches, and celiac disease, and Hashimoto's, and Raynaud's, and all of these things start to stack up, right? And the statistic is that if, for one example, right, because usually people start with one diagnosis, but for example of POTS, 80% of people with POTS will also have these common, what we call comorbidities, or other diagnoses or other symptoms that fit into different categories of another diagnosis, which is crazy. And so I saw some girls commenting on a Instagram post about this, of people just trying to figure out, I have all of these chronic diseases. Where's my community at? What do we do? What are we finding? And people realizing that they have all of these heavy hitting comorbidities. And they're like, okay, it's all connected somehow. It must be. Yeah, girl, because how about we don't diagnose you with POTS and migraines and IBS and Ehlers-Danlos and all these things.
That's all they get, right?
No, I'm not blaming them for this.
Yeah, but I just think, our systems are set up to where, you've got your family doctor that is I don't really know, I can refer you to a specialist. And then that specialist only looks at the heart, right? That cardiologist only looks at the heart. And then you got, the neurologist who's looking at your headache, right? There's no one, communicating across the systems.
It's infuriating.
Yeah.
I watched someone, before I could really articulate, and before we knew more about POTS and Ehlers-Danlos, and I was fitting it all together, that this is, newsflash, it's the nervous system. This is the nervous system. I was like, she was just in this exhausting seeking phase of nobody can figure out what's wrong with me. And she was just craving a diagnosis so that she could have some sort of treatment. Right? She was like, I hope that this next specialist tells me that this is what I have so that I can move forward with getting treatment.
I had a friend
right?
like that
And then
too,
disappointed when it was negative, right? Well, your heart is you're not experiencing palpitations because there's something wrong with your heart, right? She's like, darn it. Yeah. So it's just, I have witnessed people go down the rabbit hole of praying for a diagnosis so they can get help in this system where it's a specialist is only going to look at the heart or only going to look at the intestines to test for celiacs.
Or it's worse because the same people are treating those areas and it's counterbalancing another area. So now they have to see another specialist for what they did at this specialist because they didn't ever think about the systemic effects.
Yeah. Because what if we zoom out? Let's look at your POTS. For me, a neurologically focused chiropractor, I see POTS as that your brain is not adapting to the change in position of your body, right? When there are sensors all in your body, in your brain, that communicate, that say, when this person goes from sitting to standing, we need to increase blood pressure to get blood to their brain. And the body there's a lack of communication. That's what I see. I don't see something wrong with your heart. All right, off the bat. Especially if your heart's been tested and it's fine. So I'm not going to put you on, I mean, I can't prescribe medication, but it's like, well, if your heart's fine, why are we going to put you on things to change your blood pressure, right? And if your labs are normal, why are we going to put you on medications for that, to change your blood pressure so that you can maybe better adapt to change in position? Hopefully. Or it's like, yeah, hopefully. If your body is overreacting to histamine, and you're getting this mast cell activation sequence when you eat leftovers, which we've talked about. My question is not like, how can I change your entire lifestyle to prevent you from interacting with histamines as much as possible? But my question is, why is your body overreacting to histamines? Right? If you're getting migraines, I mean, that's a classic chiropractor. Get your butt into the chiropractor. But why is your
chiropractor?
And literally any chiropractor. They'll sort you out. But my question is, you usually get migraines when your period starts, or like 2 days into your period starts, or when you're stressed. It's like, why isn't your body adapting to hormonal changes? Why isn't your body adapting to stress? And all of it all boils down to, why isn't your body adapting? Every single one of these. Every single one of them. I'm like looking at the list right now.
Right.
Like all these comorbidities.
All based on my body is at max capacity and it genuinely can't handle even the slightest. You know, so I've been kind of changing my word and the way that I approach talking to patients about stress, because, you know, sometimes I have parents who are like, literally nothing has happened today. And I'm like, well, actually, like, a lot has happened today, and stress doesn't necessarily have to look like losing a job or a loved one, or, you know, we think of stress as like these big, but it could just be like, you were inside and then you went outside, right? Like, how many systems? And I'm trying to find a better word. Which is literally people I
see right now. It's like, right. People can't adapt to the heat.
Right. And it's like, and you know, that seems, when you're unsure of how physiology works, that seems crazy, because it's like, that's not a big deal. But when you know that, you know, every single fiber in your being has to shift in some way to keep you cool, or to, you know, maintain, you know, the oxygen levels in your body, like, all of it is working together all the time. But if you're always living on this edge of overwhelm physiologically, well, then of course, just a simple transition from inside to outside is going to be a big deal, because you didn't have any capacity to deal with that. And it's like, it's all these things compounding within the body, and it doesn't have anywhere else to go. It doesn't know how to communicate to itself. And then it goes outside and it's like, this is the last straw. Mayday, mayday. Let's like do something about all of this.
Yeah. And most of you, if we laid out, this is like an adult perfect storm.
Yeah.
Right? This is the adult onset of the perfect storm, which is like seemingly more systematic and metabolic than what we typically see in more like kiddos with like the neurological stuff.
Right.
Or maybe it's just a more developed perfect storm.
I was going to say it's just like a deeper.
Yeah. But some people, like their health was great. Their mental health was great. And then a series of events happened. I have an example of someone who like went down this like spiral of MCAS and POTS and EDS and all these things. I was asking her, I was like, well, how has your stress been the last couple, like, did something happen before the onset of all of this? She's like, kind of. She's like, well, probably the most stressful year of my life, where I think she was assaulted. She moved again. She started a new job. She had a breakup. Like, right? All of these emotional stressors stacked up, created a stress on our body, because your body's going to hold on to it if it can't process it.
Mm-hmm. Which, if all that's happening at the same time, you don't have time to, like, no amount of anything is going to help you, process that.
Yeah.
You just got to get through it.
Mm-hmm. And, even if people on wellness experience this much stress, they usually got to bump up for a little bit to, like, really help their body process all of that physically.
Yeah.
So what happened is her sympathetic system, her, like, go system that increases heart rate, slows down digestion, tells the body to be super aware of threats that could be around her, was on, right? That's kind of her prime to be on. And then her vagal tone, the brake pedal, probably dropped in all that stress, right? And the brake pedal says, hey, heart rate, you need to slow down. Hey, it's time to rest and sleep well. Hey, it's time to digest and have gut motility and absorb nutrients. And the biggest one, I think, for all of these is you don't have to perceive your entire environment as a stress, right? So that's the anxiousness. Okay? You don't have to perceive that social situation as stressful. That is the food you eat. You don't have to perceive those proteins or those histamines as a threat. That's the allergies. You don't have to perceive that pollen as a threat, right? You don't have to perceive any part of your environment that's entering into your system as a threat. And that's what happens when our vagus nerve and our parasympathetic nervous system doesn't have good tone or isn't strong enough to kind of like dampen the sympathetic system. And the sympathetic just gets to run off and stop digestion, stop sleep, stop sensory processing and cognitive function and person-to-person connection and communication and all these things. And systematically, it's like, okay, well, my heart and blood pressure are offline, my digestion's offline, my immune system's whack, my sleep is whack. And so you get all of these separate diagnoses for really what's your autonomic nervous system is not in balance. And that is exactly what chiropractic is for. Mm-hmm. That's like, oh, that's my job.
Right.
People are like, oh, my nervous system is in balance. I'm like, hey, me, that's me. Like, yeah. Like, that's what we're so good at. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
And I think, it's important that we realize, I don't know, to me, I think it's important that we realize that our bodies were designed to do this. Like, I feel like I talk about this all the time because people are like, well, that's really annoying and I hate that this is happening and all these symptoms, but it's like, well, it's either this or death. Like, not to be morbid, but like, it was this or you wouldn't be here anymore because your body literally did this to protect you. And so in my office, we talk a lot about how, like, I don't want you to be fighting me mentally or fighting what I'm trying to do with you mentally by resenting your body for what it's doing right now. I have seen lots of different cases and I've seen some pretty tragic things of like chronic pain and chronic things that are truly heartbreaking. But at the end of the day, we still have to be thankful for our body for bringing us to this point in this state because something much worse was the other option. And that is why your body chose this. And so, yeah, that part of just partnering together, it's like chiropractic is this partner in your journey of bringing that connection back. And then you get the opportunity to decide, are you going to join in? Are you going to make your brain join in on that? Or are you going to be fighting the process along the way? Because we need that combination of like my expertise, your expertise, and your body's innate wisdom and, God, who's in all of that, to help this healing journey come to fruition, because there's a reason why you're here, for more reasons than one. We could go into the spiritual side of things, right? But for sure, physiologically and biomechanically, there's a reason why your body is stuck in this state, and we should be thankful that it's not just like giving up on us.
Yeah, it's trying to protect you.
Yeah.
It's doing everything, and your body's doing everything in its power to protect you to what it perceives as like you're in a war.
Right.
Right. And so thank you, Bonnie.
Yeah. I genuinely have a patient every single day she gets adjusted that says, thank you, body. And she just naturally started doing it because I taught, we talk a lot about the importance of that. And she's like my very first patient that ever came to this office. She's still here 2 years in. And without fail, every time she gets adjusted, thank you, body. And that makes such a big it's almost like sometimes that's the missing link to this whole process, is that gratitude for your body and how far it's gotten you.
Yeah, because their symptoms, like one's trying to protect you, and then your symptoms, it's trying to tell you something, right? It's like, hey, and that's what diagnoses are. It's like, oh, we think it's telling us this. It's like, yes, but let's just like cluster those and look at them from above,
right? And
see that the root is like, okay, so I think maybe we should walk people along the healing journey, right? This like triangle, right? So you're like, this podcast convinced you. You've got yourself some inside scans. You see like, dang, my body's in fight or flight, and my system is exhausted. That's probably what's happening. And Dr. Veronica or I or any other PX doc you find gets to remove that stress from your body to let your brain know it's safe. So you can peek out of fight or flight, like, hello, we're safe. I can just see like the primitive brain being like,
are we safe?
Is it okay out there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
She said, yeah, it is. I love that.
Thank you, body. Right. So we start to get, by we, I mean your body starts to find balance and vagal tone comes online, right? Your brake pedal says, hey, we are strong and we can put our brake systems on the sympathetic system. So what builds on top of a balanced, regulated, autonomic nervous system is your neuromotor system. And for you, I don't know what you're going to see in that because you're experiencing a lot of it up here. But probably you're going to start pooping a lot better, right? It's going to slow down or it's going to speed up into a good spot. I think would you say that's what I think with all of these, like that's probably what I'd expect.
Yeah.
If you've been hurting yourself a lot in the gym or you're exhausted, I imagine there's going to be more motor balance and like less pain. A lot of you are also experiencing so much like physical muscle pain. And I imagine that will start to come into balance too.
Well, and I would also say most people come to my office after they are done punishing themselves with workouts.
Yeah, they're exhausted.
Oh, yeah. They're like not even going to the gym. So what I actually preach in my office is you're going to start craving movement of some sort. You're going to naturally be inclined to clean more often or go into the garden or go for a walk. It's not, if you've burnt yourself out, you're likely not going to go from like not wanting to hit the gym to like, let's go power lift or like run a 10K, right? But don't expect that for quite a while. But your body is naturally just going to start craving movement. And it's really, really cool. I have one patient who was like, I'll never go to the gym again. And I was like, good for you, girl. Whatever it takes. And by the end of her care plan, she was going to the gym 4 times a week. And it's just like she needed that break. I mean, it was like a 6-month care plan. But I mean, by the end of the 6 months, she was in the gym. Like she had been years prior. She just had the energy and the capacity to do that again.
Very cool. Okay, well, built on top of a really solid neuromotor foundation, which includes your gut, is your gut and immune system. And that's where y'all are hanging out. That's where you're hanging out. And that's where we're going to start to see symptoms start to kind of fall away. Like, okay, I could go out into the sun today and it didn't exhaust me and make me feel nauseous. Or, gosh, what are some basic ones? Just less reactive to allergies, less reactive to foods. We'll start to see that. But that's going to take some time, right? Like we have really got to do some convincing of I know sometimes it can take some time, but like I've seen some crazy fast results. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. I literally tell every patient it could happen tomorrow or in 6 months. I don't know, but we know it's going to happen.
Yeah. I feel like when it's really purely, like they're like, this is, allergies is not who I am. It's going to happen fast. Right? And people are like, I just like recently started developing these allergies. It's nervous system. Mine has just been this like inbred systemic thing. And so my allergies have gotten better over the years. Literally like years. Yeah. Same. But like since I was an infant, I've been struggling with that. Right. So if it built up for years, it's going to take not as long, But
well, and that's the cool thing is like hear us being like it could happen. Like I literally have told people tomorrow or 6 months or longer, right? Or years sometimes even, right? And it's like that is I used to get I don't say scared, but maybe nervous to say things like that because it's like, does that actually mean that I know what I'm talking about? But it's like that is the customized support that we bring. Everyone is different. I mean, you know, like I was thinking about, we just talked about how, you know, you're going to start pooping more most likely. But I had a patient who had pooped once a month since she was a child. So like I know. I'm like, how are you? Are you okay? Her win was pooping 3 to 4 times a week. After 6 months of care.
That's massive.
Massive, right? So it's like here, like we are giving you some generalization sometimes, but we know that there's nuance to every person. And we make sure you know that before you start signing up for care of like, okay, here's what we can expect to see. Here's the nuance of other people. And then you're going to have your journey. And I'm going to meet you in your journey every step of the way.
Yeah. Because this isn't a prescription.
Right.
And it's not a pill that's going to dampen symptoms. Right, we're asking your unique neurology to come back online.
Well, and it's very like I love PX because we have a lot of objective, but we also have this intuitive nature to it, right? Like the other day, last night, I adjusted patient was like, I've never done that before. And she was like, I don't know if that makes me excited or scared. And I was like, well, it's what you needed, right? Like, here we go. But I think I had also told her she was my patient where her neck went out so bad and it was actually her low back. Like, it wasn't until her low back released that her neck even slightly was able to move again. Like, crazy stuff, right? Like, when she came in with her head in a cricked, I was like, oh, easy. Like, this will take me 1 second. No, it did not take 1 second. It took a week. That's the longest I've ever had someone in with their head. And it was all from, like, L3 to L5. If you're not familiar with the spine, that's the lumbar spine. That's the low back right up by the hips was what, you know, and I'd never had that before. But it didn't surprise me because of like, it's like, I told her this. I was like, I've never encountered you before, but I've encountered countless other things that were nuanced to someone else. Like I've never encountered something else in someone else until I've worked with them, but we approach it all the same exact way. Our expertise is vast enough to address your specific nervous system, no matter what that looks like.
Yeah. That's probably one of the hardest parts of our job is that because we're not going to just prescribe you something and pretend that everyone's going to respond the same. It's like, I have to get to know your body, which means like, we're not going to like send the perfect adjustments that first week potentially, or there's going to be like adjustments throughout the whole care plan. They were like, that wasn't exactly what they needed. And I'm not going to pretend that I know that because I'm not going to pretend that you are everyone else. That's hard.
I think there's always a part of this journey, even if it's a bad adjustment, but that needed to happen. Right? Yeah. There is no adjustment that's wasted. There's no adjustment like, ooh, that was a bad. No. You know, it's just like, I could have approach that differently. But I wouldn't have known that had I not approached it this way.
Yeah, it had to happen.
Right? And I think that's part of the learning curve in that, though, is that we don't have enough providers who are saying, like, how does your specific, well, obviously for us, it's like nervous system respond or not respond to certain things. And that's part of the learning curve, right? Is being like that knowledge for me, that customized approach for you, the life experience you're living, the stress that you hold or let roll off of you, like all of that is factored into a 3 to 12 month care plan.
Yeah. Tip of the iceberg, real quick, in this trajectory of healing is, so gut and immune starts to come online, starts to calm down. They're like you're feeling more yourself. The tip of the iceberg is this brain-based cognitive piece of the puzzle that is probably for you, if you're listening to this with POTS and EDS and MCAS, is anxiety. Because your brain has been in a protective state and it's perceiving, it's in this default of perceiving your environment as a threat. It's going to perceive your social, emotional environment as a default as more threatening than it needs to be, because you're going to be on high alert, right? And so the beauty of this is that, and you're also like medically feeling high on high alert, right? Like, can I eat that food? Can I have that experience? Can I go on this vacation without needing medical intervention? Essentially, like, it's all of that's gonna like calm down, which is really beautiful. But healing, like development, happens in this order, and so therefore healing has to happen in this order, and that's typically what we see. But I tend to see the anxiety taper throughout a care plan. It's usually not like the very last thing that goes away. I see that like as people feel safer in their bodies, it's like that starts to happen gradually through a care plan most of the time.
I would say that's true unless you're coming to me for anxiety. I have several patients.
Literally, that, like, the thing you're coming to me for is the last thing.
Yeah. If you're, because I have a few patients where it's like, we're just now seeing some light at the end of the tunnel after like months. But like also helps this guy wean off of anxiety meds after 13 years, right? Like it's not going to happen overnight. So yeah, I think I would say that's absolutely the case for every other case. Unless you're coming to us for anxiety, then be patient.
Yeah. No, like if you're coming to me for emotional regulation, that's like the last thing that's gonna happen. If you're coming to me for constipation, that's like the last thing that's gonna happen. I don't know why. It's like probably like your biggest like has been there the longest.
Right.
Has been the most
bothering you the most. Yeah. And I think to like I'm even having people come to me for acne lately, which I'm like, this is so interesting. But like same thing as eczema, right? I've been talking to people. Keywords. What?
I said, was that in the keywords?
I don't think so, but here we are. And I talk about
or hormone, like, if they know that's hormone regulation.
Well, yeah, but it's usually gut. But I have been finding,
which is hormones, gut and hormones,
exactly. But I have been finding because the patients whose eczema cleared up during care usually didn't come to me for eczema as well as other things, but it just happened to be like a beneficial thing. The people who are coming to me for acne, it's like their gut system is definitely offline, and also their detox pathways. I'm finding that like I almost said PCOS, psoriasis, like what I have, eczema, acne, that is literally for them. I mean, I always say acne is like headaches. That's what I'm finding, right? Like it could be so many things, but I'm almost positive the people who are coming to me, it's like your acne is your skin detoxifying what your liver should be, what your kidney should be, what your spleen should be. But there's either too much activity, too much noise, or not enough noise, usually not enough noise happening there to where it's like, well, we don't know where to put these toxins, so let's just get them out through the skin. And so we just onboarded someone who's specifically working on that today. And I'll get to give you guys updates on how that goes. But yeah, it's like, it's just really, I love that we get to, people come, like he's seen so many chiropractors and his mom's like a funk med guru and like all these things. It's really funny because she recently found Dr. Tony and now her entire family is coming in to see me after a long journey with her husband. But all of that to say, it's like we have an answer for pretty much all of it because the brain is talking to all of it. And if we can improve that, you're either going to be in a great spot to where you don't need anything else, or you're going to be in a spot that is so much better than when you started, and we'll get to clean up the rest with other providers that we refer to.
Yeah. Amen. Okay, do you want to pray us out?
Sure. Dear Lord, thank you so much for, it's 2:22, for just the wisdom and knowledge that you've given us to be able to bring hope and healing to people who feel like there's just so much going on inside. And it likely, like, there is a lot of things going on, but we know that a quieter, more connected brain is one that is optimal and thriving. And we thank you that you have given us the ability and the gift to spread that to as many people as possible. We love you. We honor you. We praise you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you for joining us on Motherhood, Aligned and Assigned.
We hope today's episode helped you connect the dots in your family's health journey.
Remember, this is where nervous system health meets motherhood wisdom.
Until next time, we're Dr. Veronica Schiltz
and Dr. Serena Kaufman, supporting you as you nurture your family's well-being.
Because when you're aligned, everyone thrives.